So let's now take a look at activity 5 here. Damien needs to know what he should include in the cash flow forecast, and in particular in the cash outflows. So what sort of things might he face as cash outflows? Well, it might be wages, it might be rent, okay, anything like that. Example 2, well, we could put down utility bills. It could be his own payments, okay, that he takes as a wage from the business. So let's put down business rates. Business rates are a bit like, well, they are exactly like council tax, but for a business, okay. So business rates, good example. Fine. Now, Damien has asked you to complete the cash flow forecast. He has started. Right, so this guy's really struggling here. He's not able to actually complete this cash flow forecast, so we've got to do it for him, all right? We've got to check out what's happening and why. Right, okay, so we know that the net cash flow position was minus 1,450, so we don't know what the opening balance is, but what we end up with is minus 250. So that suggests that he was in a strongly positive, because remember, to actually work out the closing balance, what you would normally have to do is you'd normally go opening balance plus or minus the net cash flow, okay, so plus or minus the net cash flow. So we just have, in this case, the closing balance, okay, so we know what the closing balance is, so therefore what is the opening balance? Well, we've got to add that amount back on. As we add that amount back on, adding 1,450 to 2 minus 250, it means that we get 1,200. Right, so next one, then we've got our total outflows to calculate here. Remember, net cash flow, so your closing balance equals the opening balance plus or minus the net cash flow. The net cash flow, meanwhile, is your inflows. So your inflows minus your outflows, okay, nice and simple. All right, so we don't have the outflows amount here, but we do have the inflows. We can see that that's positive 5,400, but this net cash flow is 375, so we can see therefore that it's going to have to be 375 added on to 5,400, so that would give us 5,775. There it is. And then when it comes to total inflows, here exactly the same sort of approach. We've got our net cash flow position. We know what our outflows are, so we just need to add those two together to get this amount. Okay, so if we add 1,250 onto there, 4,850, that would give us 6,100. All right, lovely stuff. All right. Okay, so the enterprise has a negative net cash flow for the first 3 months. All right, so he's got a negative net cash flow for the first 3 months. Complete the table by, in column A, give 2 solutions that he could use to improve cash flow. So let's just come back to the information we've got here. What can he do to actually improve his cash flow so that he's not having all these awful negative closing balances, or at least that they're smaller than they currently are, because he's got an overdraft here. So it's not looking great for Damien's business. I'm surprised he can afford us, actually. Right, anyway, let's just see what he can do. Well, the first thing is, can he increase this? Can he increase his inflows? Can he reduce his outflows? You know, those have got to be the key areas to focus on. To increase his inflows here, could the price go up? Could he actually increase his prices? That's the first thing. So next up, can he actually find cheaper utility providers? Can he find cheaper suppliers? And that would help reduce his outflows, of course. So let's just pop those potential answers down. So we can say, right, increase prices, and secondly, reduce expenses e.g. utilities. Okay, all right, so if he's able to cut his utilities bills, then that's going to be good news. Okay, right, so how would that actually help? Well, it would mean that he earns more revenue on each sale. So that's the first thing. He would earn more revenue on each sale. That's jolly nice. Reduce expenses. Okay, so he can find cheaper utility providers. Okay, but just as easily it could have been reduce his cost of sales by finding cheaper material suppliers. All right, so that's great. Next one, right, Damien is looking at the way in which he can use his promotional mix. This is our first real sort of marketing based question here. He's considering the two following options: marketing the candle workshops, fine, okay, to potential customers via direct mail, selling the candle making workshops directly to potential customers in the local shopping centre. So he's got two options here. Explain one advantage of direct selling the candle making workshops through meeting potential customers face to face. So you know, this is nice here, the face-to-face aspect, and clearly that means that he can actually answer any questions. He can develop a relationship, but remember, we've got to give a point and then we've got to explain that. Okay, so we could say something allow right, customers can ask questions. Right, so customers can ask questions. Okay, so that's good. Right, and what does that mean? And then we can then just say, right, customers can ask questions because Damien can then give expert answers. Okay, because he knows what he's doing, of course, all right, can then give expert answers. Okay, so that's jolly good. All right, so yeah, and you might well have put down about being able to develop a relationship or something like that. That's fine, okay. All right, so now we've got a 3-mark explain question, okay. So this 3-mark explain question, let's have a little look at this, right. So explain one benefit to an enterprise of segmenting its market by locations. This is the geographic segmentation, okay? So it means that he can target his advertising, he can target his direct mail and his going to the shopping centre here is all targeted at his correct customers, his correct target audience. All right, so you know, that's it, once again nice and straightforward. Okay, so he can target advertising effectively, and it's not just advertising. I'm writing advertising, but it's targeting promotion more effectively. Okay, so that's jolly good. Right, that would get us 1 out of 3. So we've got to give 2 points of development now, okay? So where do we want to go next, okay? So, well, we could say that this would enable him to target only the type of customers who are likely to attend his workshops, okay? So he does not waste time in targeting those who will not attend. Okay, jolly good. Right, and we need a 3rd point because that's 2 out of 3 now. So this will reduce his costs. So this will reduce his costs and increase profits. All right, so something like that is great. All right, And by the way, actually, what you could have done, you could almost have dropped that second sentence and just said this will reduce his costs as he's not targeting those outside the area, and increase his profits, and that would have been 3 as well. Excellent. Okay, right, so here we go. Let's move it along. So now we've got our final question. Okay, so this is far more detailed. Okay, let's just look at the number of marks available for this. Gosh, like, look at all this space you're given. I don't think you need to worry about using all of that up at all. You can finally see the grade. There it is, 6 marks. Okay, so I would not worry about using up all of that space. Okay. Right, so anyway, look, what's he thinking about here? Damien is thinking of different ways in which he can promote the candle making workshops with the aim of attracting more customers. He has set a budget of £500. There are 2 advertising methods he is considering. So the first one is print. Okay, so we've got print material and then we've got digital. Evaluate which of the 2 methods of advertising Damien should use to increase the number of customers attending the candle making workshops. In your answer, you should include an analysis of the key advantages, disadvantages of using print and digital methods to promote the candle making workshop, conclusion that recommends which advertising method would be best for the candle making workshops. Okay, so it's almost like a PPJ style structure here, where you got like paragraph 1, you got paragraph 2, and then you've got to give a judgment, okay, on what you think is likely to be best and why. So I'm just going to run through some potential answers here quickly. So when it comes to the print, well, how can he actually use this? Well, he's got a budget of £500 here, so that's quite crucial. Okay, he wants to attract more customers, and just keep your eyes on the prize here, okay, in terms of what he's trying to do here. So he wants more customers, and he's got to make sure he really puts that £500 to hard work. Right, so it means that he has complete control over the promotional message. Right, so we can put something down like that. He has complete control over promotional method. Okay, so he has complete control over promotional method used. Jolly good. That works nicely. It may mean that he wants to offer, he may choose to offer a discount. Something like that would be great. Okay, and then they've almost like got a voucher and they've got a reason to actually come along. Okay, now the downsides, however, he may need to pay someone to distribute these. Okay, because they do need to be distributed. Ultimately, he needs to get an email base together, doesn't he, so he can just reach his customers that keep coming to his classes, and also tries to attract others. It's far less costly to actually kind of build up your following like that, but that takes time. However, he may need to pay for them to be distributed. Okay, all right, so he may need to hire someone to actually sort that out for him. Okay, and they can, of course, go out of date quite quickly. All right, so what about digital advertising? Well, he can actually build a real following on something like Facebook or Instagram. Can build a following. Okay, can reach a wide audience. Okay, so that's all jolly good. Right, what else can we actually say? Well, it can also be fairly inexpensive if you do that yourself, okay? And it means that you can be really specific and you can target specific demographic markets or market segment, demographic market segmentation can target specific demographic market segments. So, for instance, I don't know, I'm just making a guess here. I don't imagine there's going to be many sort of 20 to 30-year-old males going to these classes. I could be wrong, but that's what I reckon there. There we go. Right, so then we just need to finish up with the judgment, and we just ultimately need to finish up by saying something along the lines of, right, answer the question and justify your answer. Say what it depends upon and say what you think is most important. We've got to remember he's got a £500 budget here. He wants to attract more workshop customers. So those are the key areas that we really need to focus on. And what sort of impression is he really going to give with these two different types of marketing that he's using, print versus digital? So he really needs to think about that. So just remember what I've got here. Answer the question and justify your answer. Say what it might depend upon, that he's only got a limited budget, and what is most important, that he makes sure that he attracts workshop customers. Okay, so great stuff, guys. I hope that's been useful there. Look forward to seeing you again soon with another one. Cheers, bye-bye.